What up, y'all? It's Vyle, and today we're going to learn about tips and tricks on how to finish your first track in Ableton Live. Tip number one of the most important things in finishing a track is making sure all of your sounds are EQ'd. Now, we want to always make sure that each sound, no matter if it's a drum, sample, vocals, lead, they all have their own frequency that they sit under, because it's going to create space within the track and it is going to allow each instrument to sound as best as it can. Bass drums usually sit in a lower tone, somewhere around 50 or 60 hertz. Vocals sit in mid-range tone, around 1,000 hertz. And higher range frequencies such as hi-hats from 3 to 10K. Another thing you want to make sure, if there are vocals on your track, that you do take out a lot of the mid-range to allow for the vocals to come through on a track. Sometimes you might want to say turn the vocals up louder, but it's really not the vocals. It's the fact that there's too much mid-range within your beat. Step number 2. You want to make sure that you're using the correct warp mode depending on the track you're using. So if we're remixing a song, you want to make sure that the acapella that you're using is always set to Complex Pro, which you can find within the sample editor window in the drop-down menu. If your track is basically done and you're ready to publish it, one thing you want to take note of is your render settings. So you're going to select your whole track from beginning to end, and then we are going to go to File, Export Audio Video. When we click Export Audio Video, we get the Export Settings menu. In the section named Selection, you can select whether you want to render the master of your track, and you also can select if you want to master individual tracks within your session or all the individual tracks or stems of your session. You would use that to give to friends or other artists if you want somebody to remix your songs. Under that, we have the render start and render length, pretty self-explanatory. We also can render as loop. If you were trying to just make your own maybe drum break 4-bar drum loop, you can toggle that to make this a loop. What's most important is here in the audio settings. Now we can select if we want this to be a WAV or AIF file, but what's most important is your sample rate. You want to make sure that it stays at 44,100 kilohertz, and that is CD quality sound, and is what is going to make your music sound at its best. You want to always make sure that the bit depth of your tracks is 16-bit. You can also normalize your file. Normalizing will bring all of the levels and transients in your track to all the way where every transient is on a common level, and that's not something you want to do when you're working with your own track. We also can convert to mono, which is helpful depending on the system that you're playing on, or to bring a sample possibly from stereo to mono. And then we have SoundCloud and video setting. When you have everything done with your track, you just click export, set the file name, and hit enter, and then you're good to go. Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Vyle. Shouts to Scratch DJ Academy. And this was tips on how to finish your first song in Ableton Live. And for more on mixing drums and vocals, check out these videos.